Hello and thank you all for watching. This is Manny Sunny Sun for an astrological report. We begin with the Sun entering into the sign of Pisces February 19th to March 20th. And so let's begin. Pisces is one of the last of the water sign of the zodiacal series and evokes the end of winter and the need to address a new cycle. Here, this sign is ruled by Neptune, planet of spirituality and osmosis. Pisces is an analogous to the house number 12 and on places and situations where one has to excel in. Pisces, of course, like I said, is governed by Neptune and Jupiter, which endows a native with spirituality, self-transcendence, imagination, and compassion. This sign, of course, is an immutable sign and, of course, functions as a mutable functions. In the emotions and feelings, it's able towards others. As a Piscean, would never feel to be the leader. Would always would rather be in a position of service. There, of course, is a longing to escape into a dream world, into the non-physical reality, into the dream, to dream the impossible dream. Pisces, of course, governs in the anatomical description, governs the feet, the toes, the tendons, joints. The flat feet, also sprains and fractures, and other parts of injuries in the body. So the point of health, the opposite sign of Virgo, hence afflictions and trouble of the stomach, intestines, lymph, mental illness, and nerves, a tendency towards addiction because it is attracted by the illusory worlds, either self-indulgent drugs or alcohol. So here, Pisces, as a water sign, is a sign of the imagination. Jesus during the Piscean age, which takes about 2,000 years under the sign of Pisces, Virgo axis, under this under Catholicism. The Pisces Virgo Christ was a shepherd in Aries. He called his disciples fishers of men, and the sun was to take its annual turnaround, the ecliptic. Here it is found nearing the cusp in Pisces, the fish. So when the sun was in Pisces, and we will turn into mediumship and wonderful world of the imagination, Pisces people, of course, are among one of the most gentle and most compassionate. Need to be very careful among anything on this world of Pisces here, because of the material world and in this physical everyday waking life and consciousness of the reality. The sun in Pisces makes it anything but real. The world for a fish is most in danger when it comes to lazy and a degenerate into the very cold and low of spirits. This person is in particular can become lost and escape of reality. They can neither free themselves from their own self-will, they can suffer a lot of losses and frustrations, generally a life of inertness and devoid of self-will. Really, their life is a reality of imagination, visionary, mysticism. Particularly men in the sun in Pisces are predisposed to things of the mind and the heart. Music, concepts, beliefs, lyrics, poetry, art in general. This is the meaning for of a Pisces in general, is an escape into anything having to do with the imagination. So here, Pisces sign is a mutable water sign. The element functions more as a receptive and intense. Pisces, of course, likes find great emotional connection when you are able to give up and sacrifice your own needs, if at will, to another person. You need to feel others need you and that you offer the best of your own service. You have a great interest in the arts. You are also a creative individual able to express your own emotional longing into romantic idling. Your sensitivity towards the outside world leads to a feeling of very compassionate feelings towards the underprivileged, finding distrust and discontent with their suffering. We might find to sympathize with the hurt, the wounded, and to listen to the misery and low of life and the world. They are also the witness and the gift of martyr syndrome. There is no other reason they are here for this earth, for very powerful, and they have unsuppressed energy that practice with compassion, sympathy, religious communion, dedicated volunteers, inspired poets, sages, and artists. They fall in love with this belief of spirituality because they They feel inside their heart they can be the liberator and bring vision into someone's life. They love the struggles, sort of include them in their own suffering. As we easily find them, and we easily felt that the energy of this Pisces lived at this highest level, is far from any judgment, any criticism of life on this world. The benevolent vision is key. As long as you judge your neighbor, or even humans in general, their actions, their choices, their ideas, their appearance, or their own feelings, you are in the role of a censor, and who does not serve your goals and of joy and love. So here you have the right to desire, of course, again and again to experience the suffering of this old world, and again to experience the suffering, and to continue keeping in touch with that. And that's what's even most at the present in the collective unconscious. But it seems to me that the seeking of light and seeking to rejoin again with these energies of love are much more beneficial. Much more beneficial for happiness. The more we let this energy flow into the ocean, the oceanic waters of Pisces, the more we shall be guided by faith, which is not a religious sense or religious based on abstract doctrines or precepts. The fish Piscean period will seem very easy. Conversely, we want to keep control, keep clinging to our own ideologies, our abstract ideals, beliefs, including those that are dictated to us by dogmas of any so-called higher authority, whether it be universities, church, government, the state, etc. Hoping that a utopian feeling that things will go according to our own desires and our own will, that which may make this painful cycle, because the collective unconscious is still doing well more in the suffering and submission than the emancipation and lightness. Pisces, the fish here, do not have the good reputation of being quite playful. They manage to get depressed quite easily. People can become quite pessimistic. They often hide their own sadness. One of the key words that we can describe a Piscean would be discomfort, would be one of the solid sense of humor or upon that. But those who intimately know the sign of Pisces know that this is not only pain, but nothing leaves us indifferent. Heart is constantly scratched. It is quite painful in the heart to feel that. They're very sensitive beings, I believe deeply. Love others and sympathize with their own plight and their suffering, and ability to listen and feel themselves in another's shoes. If my neighbor knows the Aquarian here, they're more detached. But here in the Pisces are more passive, totally drowning into the stream of the water of the Piscean, where they love they love the world's misery. They witness more of the victim martyr syndrome is necessary, no doubt. Here, the Piscean energy. The reason that they're very good to become religious, honest people, respectable sages, painters, dramatists, actors, poets, they fall in love quite easily, because it must be said that Pisces lack an understanding in human relationships, loving everyone before themselves. Of course, Pisces here struggle to sort of include their own comfort, and they easily become invaded, interfere with people because they just go with the flow, and go with whom the Piscean waters carry them. So what's good on the fight anyway? The Pisces generally believe in the predestination or fate, and happen to just do that. Fish do a lot of mistakes because they tend to dilute themselves to compensate for the mediocrity of others. And I think they often see that people they're better than until everything tumbles, and they feel quite deeply upset. Piscean love, of course, they give everything and try to be put themselves into the other. We are very zealous, attentive, but we're almost always disappointed, because love is rarely it lives to its reputation. I'm looking for a friend, a comforter, support, solace, optimistic person when needed that needs us to advance, a lack of being naturally endowed with that. Pisces of fish, of course, in relationships can adapt very easily to others and know what to say when it is necessary, not by desire or by any way of manipulation of the others, because I'm quite opposite of that. They're just like to surf without any, they just like to ride the wave of humanity, in other words. Besides, I must admit that sometimes I say one thing and do the opposite thing, according to this interlocker, because I do not really have an opinion on everything. I am aware that my options does interest the person, and I prefer to abide by the accepted ideas. In short, I try to keep everyone, not to have to choose between a goat and a cabbage. Money, power, success only interest the weaker Pisces, because our soul aspires less clearly on something else. That transcendent feeling of meditational prayer, creating artificial paradise. They say that Pisces of fish here are prone to premonitions, dreams. In general, they commune in a world that is said as sensitive. Finally, be noted that the key word is best defining by the personality as fusion. It seems that the natives here of Pisces are more than influenced by their cosines, ascendants, therefore. So let's go into certain analogies for a Piscean sign. You may find Pisceans in prisons, hospitals, retirements, the ocean, asylums, or monasteries. Certain religions connected with this Piscean sign would be shamanism, mysticism, fatalism. Astrological analogies for this sign is house number 12. Planet rulership is Neptune, and its home is in Pisces. Certain occupations for Pisces signs can become guardians, ER, nurse, practitioner, psychiatrist, psychologist, certain social professions, certain qualities you would give this sign. Well, its motto is I believe, charitable, devoted person, receptive. Certain mythological analogies for this Pisces sign. Neptune is part of the triad of the supreme gods of the Greco-Roman mythology, as it shares again with Jupiter and Pluto, the entire universe, of course. Jupiter seems to reign on Earth as in heaven, and planning the earthly lives as a celestial, and whether Pluto reigns in the in hell and Hades is in junction between these two worlds. Neptune, meanwhile, is a master of the waters and the sea, oceans, rivers, because they share the world of men. Incontinents, countries must be considered as barriers that man, by his ingenuity and collaboration, can take to discover very beyond what is unknown in the world, different, probably rewarding. In fact, the god of the sea must also be seen as a god of transition from one state of consciousness to another, from one reality to another. Some analogous connections with Pisces would be the planet Neptune here, which governs all intermediate states of consciousness. Here, the state of suffering of man is unleashed to the water, sailing towards the unknown, such as illness, imprisonment, whether it be a mental state, madness, coma, or addiction. Neptune, of course, will also take care of our desired intermediate states in the context of personal evolution through the osmosis in the world of the monastic, taking a retreat, a meditational retreat, enlightenment, artistic inspiration. So here, a dominant Neptunian sign, and we'll explain here. A dominant Neptunian type. Neptunian has an essentially natural instinct to go into the psychic, beneath the veil, so to speak. The spiritual world around him is deeply empowered by his perception and contained in people or things. Regardless, in any education, this childhood of the Neptune is being of faith. Faith that is not based on support is to believe in one God, for example, but rather relies on what remains when nothing more. His faith is that of the poor, the fool, or the simple. He's also all attracted to the mysticism in all its types and forms. It is possible that you cannot remain insensitive to the charm, but few of them manage to mobilize the attention sustainability. It can, in fact, move towards a status or more total than most unexpected unselfishness and receptivity. In the professional life, it is more attached to the life that is world that carry out into the social ambition, but Neptune, of course, is one of the rulers of Pisces, has a split personality here, indeed. His unique character is described so far, follows two distinct temperaments. Neptune, of course, will use his intuitive, psychic perceptions of the mind, of one who will find that into the private. In first case, Neptune, of course, highlights spirituality, perception, clairvoyancy, mysticism, living through his own perceptions, through a mediumistic pursuit, whether it be art, music, for example. Intuition is strong here. For the Neptunian, it sometimes enables him to translate the feelings into words in acts or reason. So his conscious tends to recognize an identity, collective, rather than the individual, which often leads to devote himself to humanitarian or universal causes. His magnanimity causes his to be capable of great mobilizations of great humanity, of community and sort of causes, to sacrifice for material security, to relieve the poor. So he has more receptive sensitivity to the general as a special cases, which promotes home to develop of a spiritual viewpoint on compassion for the other. So Neptune, of course, is gifted with great magnetism, its natural auras, attractive personality, powerful that appeals towards the people. He also shows an elation, able to dump torrents of energy for the ideas or actions, this great urge of enthusiasm. In general, life for this Neptunian and his love life feels quite irresistible to the urge to serve the other. It tends to feel cramped, his own being. That is why it's often attracted by farther horizons, wide panoramas that are great for him. The natural turn to his activities that lack any confinement. Professionals related to the sea, for example. A negative portrait of a Pisces sign, if man can improve or erase its own flaws, highlighting its own qualities, it happen instead. It can be embroiled in negative impulses. This example can be driven to alcoholism, especially difficult in the life of others, or the accumulation of neurosis here. The fact still remains, certain high values largely corrupt and can make a portrait vitriolic. Here's a description of a Pisces and Neptunian sign, highlighting negative portrait of Neptune Pisces, devoid of clairvoyance here, to take refuge in a mirage of illusions, revealing itself unstable and confused. Secrets, individuals, seeking an anonymity and the dissolution of other persons, always elusive. Pisces the fish here, negative, can go into retreat into its own silence, the deepest, into isolation, silence, solitude. They tend to embellish in their own lives, spooky or finding a happy ending quite grotesque, because they are quite naive, quite dreamy, self-delusional, irresolutions, leakage of reality through artificial paradise, or characterize this particular sign. Distressed, this portrait is incapable of the slightest social ambition. He is content to be buffeted by events, since his power is into fatalism and paralyzing him into actions of rebellion. Then he may be tempted by the ways of the good that is not illegal or in some sense violent. It is a path of least resistance, easy money. It will then be a swindler, a con artist, be a trickster or forager, distracted, making its way by being a con artist, always more or less paranoid in its downright schizophrenic social or romantic relationships are quite difficult for this Piscean sign. It's quite negative. It's like to put in its victims while passing as executioners in strength. To swim through troubled waters would be one of representations. Always seems to delight in the drama and tragedy and nebulousness in situations, and then can count to ruin everything if necessary. So these were some vitriolic portraits of a sign. So this has been an astrological report for the sign of Pisces, February 19th to March 20th. Pisces sign is, of course, one of the last of the water signs, represents the last sign, evokes the end of winter, and also addresses a new cycle. It's ruled by Neptune, and it's analogous to the 12th house. So if you have any further questions or like to have a consultation, please don't hesitate to leave a message down below. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next video slide. Thank you all for watching.